And here we are. Welcome back to the Heroes Hearth Invitational, the grand final, another best of 5 after 2 weeks. And starting with 8 players, we're down to 2. That means we have to say goodbye to one of our casters as well. Remo, it was a pleasure. See you tomorrow.
What?
What?
Okay, you didn't fall for it? No? No. Of course we're gonna stay with the TriCast. Are we
Yes.
in? Yes? You don't want to be with me alone, Grubby? No? Oh, okay.
Not lying.
Alright. So, do we have a game yet? If not
quite yet.
All right, then it's the chance for our viewers to win something, because this tournament is not only brought to you by Heroes Hearth, but also by HyperX, and they're gracious enough to give you a mouse for free. All you have to do is to type in chat HyperX family. Kendric is gonna start it. Kendric will give you the signal, and then one of you lucky fellers got a brand new mouse.
You can always use one of those, can't you? HyperX has been known to produce a lot of great products. I have some myself, so I can speak to that quality. Big thanks to the sponsor here getting involved. First time, I think, in forever, HyperX getting involved in Warcraft. So, guys, show some support. And, yeah, good luck to all of you.
And not to us. I just confirmed commentators cannot win this giveaway. Sad for us.
Damn, we were like questioning this yesterday. I was close. So we need Smurf accounts. That should be fine.
Not having a Smurf on Twitch in 2020, lol. Yeah, good luck to everyone. Kendric will get it started, so everyone will know what to spam. Generally, chat is quite fast when it comes to giveaways and what to spam.
So let's see how fast our admin Rekram is with creating the first game. Foggy versus Cash. We have seen this before. Yesterday, there was a pretty clean affair. It was a 3-0 for Foggy. And it felt like Cash doesn't really stand a chance. So what can he change now? I mean, it's all a little bit in the dark, as we don't know if he goes random or orc again. But how can you surprise Foggy?
Well, Neo, does Foggy necessarily need to be surprised? Is he not one of the best but more inconsistent players? We might just see a different Foggy today.
That might be true. He has some flaws in his games here and there. Speaking of Engine of War denies, stuff like that, that does happen to him, forgetting a Huntress Hall, forgetting a Moonwell here and there. But in recent weeks, I felt like whenever Foggy is not up against Happy, he's really, really strong.
Yeah,
Okay.
the same.
So you think he's been getting more consistent?
Yeah, I think practicing with Cash pays off. Practicing hard to finally defeat Happy in one of those weekly cups. He's grinding hard, and he's improving steadily. He's one of the top 4 of DreamHack Anaheim. We all saw it, and yeah, I think he goes into this as the favorite.
Do you think that right now he would have still be losing to Lin's TC Mass Headhunter on Last Refuge? Because that was sloppy. Right?
That was indeed sloppy. Oh yeah, I remember.
You think this is a different Foggy?
How long?
I mean, it's still Lin. But...
yeah, Lin is still Lin. We don't know, actually. We haven't seen Lin in like 3 to 4 months, but yeah, I think that wouldn't happen to Foggy anymore. He's a lot more stable than that.
That was during one of his weakest phases, right? In the 1.30.4 phase.
Yeah.
Where the keeper meta was just being combated back and the keeper was brought down back to heal. Where Foggy really fell off hard, where he missed... Was it 1 or 2 WGLs?
1.
1.
When
Missed
Cash
1
eliminated him in the qualifier.
With human.
With human,
Exactly.
indeed. So we are
We have
ready.
the answer now, by the way, as to the race. Cash is playing random.
All right. So this is the this is the first appearance of Foggy with his new team, by the way. We had that yesterday after our broadcast. There was a little bit of an announcement. Foggy is now part of Sparks Esport, formerly known as Vogo, alongside Please and other guys. So we have been questioning, like, when will a team finally pick up Foggy? And here's the answer. Welcome to Sparks. And with that, we have him here. One of the best players in the world, a former vice world champion at GCS and WGL. Bronze medalist there as well. and the top 4 position at DreamHack Anaheim. Foggy is definitely back with the World Elite. But how does he fare against Cash? Can Cash get the revenge for yesterday?
4th game in a row that Cash is rolling ORC.
Oh, wow.
What are the odds for this? This is ridiculous.
Well, it's always
Low.
25%, Remo. I learned that from you.
Yeah,
Well, that is
viewed
amazing.
individually, that's true.
But on the whole, it's 6 games today, 3 orc. That's not that weird.
Now 4, right?
Yeah, he played 1 undead.
4 games.
It was 3-2, and this is his 6th, and he's got four out of 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's quite a lot. Yeah.
And he has a 100% win rate with Orc so far, right?
Yeah.
So let's see how this goes. Foggy for the Ukraine in the bottom left and Cash for Mother Russia in the upper right. He has a 3-0 win streak coming from the lower bracket. Final. Can he make it all the way for the $500?
Was a very early Wisp Scout, so this cost a few resources here. But wanted to get this information in as quickly as possible. This is the build that we see almost on any map from Orcs nowadays against Night Elf, where you're expecting a big Ancient of War creep and where you will be able to be in position to punish it. Speaking of the Voodoo Lounge first and the skipped Barracks first. Is that a build you prefer to play nowadays in this matchup as well, Grubby?
Yeah, it feels almost necessary. Any second you don't spend getting your shaman out as quickly as possible means that you cannot be on the map with your grunts. So there's really not that much to do early game with the grunts. Nice wisp block, by the way. That could just be... wait, what the heck? He windwalked before he got his speed scroll. Made a feint on the wisp as well. Cash looking a little sloppy. That means the keeper will definitely finish the whole camp before the Blade Master arrives. But yeah, pretty much, Remo. It feels like such a painful delay. Wait! Oh, that was close.
The Ancient of War is super low. Can the Blade get this? Kill the Wisp? Kill the Ancient of War? With
Hey.
Entangle, probably not doable. But yeah,
He
this
might
is
have been able
absolutely...
to without Entangle, but it wouldn't be worth it. And then there is also Entangle, yeah.
Yeah, normally with this opening, you hope to steal one last hit. That denies level 2 for the Keeper, and that changes so much. Just the simple Wisp block and the mismovement by Cash now makes this early game a little awkward for the Orc.
Grubby, you mentioned this in the last game against SyDe. Like, if he blocks the Blade Master for a little with the Acolyte, he arrives late and then there's not that much chaos. Foggy did it better, and Foggy with a better start in general.
Yeah, exactly. Very nice little moves that you won't fully understand until you have a lot of experience with the very same creep rats that you see here. You keep doing that, you realize it is about just a few seconds, and that's where you really see the beauty of an RTS and the little moves. Like, there's no way you first pick up a game you would do that. You won't understand why you're doing it. But after a long time, it just gets really beautiful like that. The keeper is now getting near the orc base. There could be like peon entangles, but really not worth it. Tier 2 is so fast, you could remake it without a lot of lumber issues.
The treants are stuck.
What's with these treants? Did you do that on purpose?
I don't think it was intentional, but Cash does him the favor of freeing the treants. Or perhaps it was not really a favor, but rather a punish as the creeps wake up. And I'm kind of surprised that Foggy isn't splitting out across the map more. With this orc opening, it's so hard to get information. There's no grunts roaming around. I guess the scout peon is still looking out somewhere. But normally you want to rush this level 3 keeper as quickly as possible. That is still far from acquired. Tree of Life was scouted.
I feel like you're thinking about the Lol Lyot style a little. We have, of course, seen many keeper openings, but this is once again back to 1.30.4 style a bit, where there are no early huntresses. Instead, you're getting that super greedy 21 food Tree of Life. And then the keeper 3, it's not like you wouldn't want it, but it's not as important as when you're doing mass upgraded hunts tier 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The weird thing, though, is that he rushed out a Hunter's Hall and then made not a single Huntress, and he didn't rush Ultra Vision either. So it was kind of like, was it a mind game? Did he change his mind? I don't know. You don't see this opening a lot, do you?
A decent amount.
Hunter's Hall triple Moonwell, Archers, Tree of Life, and no Ultra Vision or Huntress. You could just skip the Hunter's Hall then.
Yeah, I guess he's moving into Huntresses now. I think this is what we've been seeing more and more recently, starting off with a couple of Archers and then going into Hunts. So you'll end up with a 50 supply army of like half Hunts, half Archers, so you don't play into Serpent Wards so much.
Yeah, I saw this a lot this week, especially by 15 Sway, for example, but that should not be the gold standard for Night Elf play as he's off racing. But Check played it a little as well. Might be a trend. Serpent Wards are so strong in the late game, but does that really matter in the early? I'm not sure.
I guess it gives a slightly quicker tech when you do it with Archers instead of Huntresses. He's got Ultra Vision now, he's got his tech on the way, it's nearly finished. The first 2 Huntresses are coming out with the Sentinel, and he's getting an effortless creep so far on the expansion.
Oh, Blade Master! Oh, he gets the last hit and the item! Wow, that was long fingers. He's gonna die for this. But I think it's okay. He's only level 1. Oh, nice surround there being held by Foggy. That wasn't too easy to do.
But yeah, it's worth it? Probably, right?
So. Yeah, it's a lot of time for Foggy as well that he's spending down here. Yeah, he gets more experience, but he has the Shadow Hunter creeping up solo in the meantime. Needs to heal up the grunts though. Oh, they're looking a little bit damaged over here.
Super early expo by Cash. 2 rings of regeneration, 1 on his dead blades, 1 on his shadow. Not ideal. I mean, 1 is nice, but 2 is a little bit overkill.
Remo, I heard you're a big fan of the Ring of Regen.
I really like Ring of Regen. Not for the fact that it's super good, but just especially early game. For greedy creeping is pretty nice.
I think it is super good. It's like twice as good as Bury Up to Fatality in my opinion. Same cost, almost.
And Foggy is coming in for the cancel here. This is the first big move of this game, I guess. But this may come at a price. Some Archers here could very well be falling. Blade Master must be coming back any second now. Yeah, he is. And yeah, this is going to be 3 Archer kills. Level up for the Blade. 4 Archer kills. Not even sure that this is entirely worth it.
That's not how to use early game Archers, generally. Huntresses do this job better. But he did get the cancel on the expo, so he's just playing an economic game.
No, but there's more Purge, there's more heal wave to go around. And Shaman, they are really cheap to replace. And I don't think Cash lost a single unit here yet.
The Peon. But yeah, no army units.
There was a lot of Entangle used, but he never got a kill for it. There was 1 on the Grunt, didn't get the kill. There was 1 on the Shaman, didn't get the kill. Shadowhunter 2.7 now. Blade Master got critical strike as well. Second Engine of War is up.
Re-expand, but 1 Huntress was left behind. The Snake is about to time out, so the Peon has no protection.
Where?
See Foggy sticking to the full tier 1, is getting a 2nd attack upgrade for Huntresses, pumping from 2 Ancients of War right now. Moonwell coming up, he's at hard capped at 50, but soon that will be unlocked.
Foggy with an Ancient Protector at Cash's expansion. Could be a nice little distraction, will force a move at some point. With that he could own the middle, as you do with Keeper and Alchemist most of the time.
It's not an easy position for Foggy though. Creeping right now would lead to a Creepjack. Attacking could turn out to be an overextension. He needs scrolls, definitely, no matter what he does. Only gets the invols, doesn't get the scroll, and this is going to cost him the invol instantly.
It's like... he went in there to get the invol just to need to use it immediately because he went in there. Kind of a paradox, but at least he denied it to the blades, I suppose.
Lots of purges. Oh, critical strike for 60. Lady C dying. No, heal wave. Alchemist trying to disengage, and so is Cash. Buys time for the
Keeper out of mana, low health. This feels awkward right now. Foggy doesn't have the scrolls to really force a fight, or does he? 1 single heal scroll, 2 attack upgrades.
Foggy
I would
wants
love
to
see some
pretend.
armor.
that he's here in full force, stopping Cash from creeping, because his keeper had to go home. He wants to get that double clarity potion, ideally a Staff of Preservation as well. Doesn't even stick around long enough to do any of that. He prioritized armor upgrade over getting double clarity and staff. So he wants to move out as quickly as possible while working on his long-term plan, and he's just going to go ahead for another cancel here, no matter what it costs. Let's see how much it will cost.
At the very least, one Huntress will be falling to this. The tower putting in a good bit of damage, and now the Shaman are in range. Nighttime is over, so we don't have Shadow Meld anymore. Oh, and the Alchemist might be falling here with a few more right clicks. Yup, he's dead. This cost a TP, a Huntress, and the Alchemist for the delaying of the expansion. That's, of course, nice to get the delay off, but it's not really looking like Foggy's just running away with supply just yet.
If Foggy had sold Gloves of Haste, he could have bought Staff of Pres and saved the Alchemist, done the exact same thing. But he just wanted to get there quickly, didn't make the investment, did get the cancel, but a bit expensive. And Shadow Hunter high level, that's all you need to make up a 20 food deficit, right?
Yeah, especially against the Huntress army. Wouldn't mind Cash to see him tech to tier 3 right now. If his expansion gets cancelled again, just go for the tiny. Oh, the Blade in trouble though! He gets surrounded. Good thing he just found the Ankh. And I have to pop it right away. I'm dropping low. The heal scroll is available. And not too many Serpent Wards set up here just yet. Could be a decent fight now for Foggy. Finally, the Alchemist still isn't back in the mix.
Oh, nice micro by Foggy, but actually there was one more snake that backstabbed the Huntress. It looks like Foggy wasn't going to sustain any unit losses for a while, but he did lose one. Alchemist is back now, Blade is running away, and Foggy is doing a lot of damage.
How long can he stay in this? The Hunter's starting to fall, but that's the same situation for Cash. No speed scroll, has to do a lot of healing now, and this can all be cancelled with Huntress and Glaives. You could feel the lack of acid bomb in this fight. Everything for the Orc took a lot longer to go down, but he cancels his expansion once again, despite there being 2 towers. Just too accessible at this position.
Needs to keep these towers alive. These towers are the anchor for his expansion sooner or later. And the towers at least will remain alive.
No speed scroll, so he cannot get those shamans in range of the Huntresses, purge them, surround, maybe get a belated dust. It's just running after the Night Elf here. If anyone slows down, they will be purge bait. But it's about 200 out of range, so Foggy gets away with most of what he had and has now saved up 66 food and will once again be bringing 5 wisps. I feel like he brought wisp last fight, but did he even use them, guys?
I don't think so. Shaman looked pretty good mana-wise.
This will be the first time then if he gets to be in position to do so.
And that's pretty bad.
I'd love to see mirror image here, actually. Then again, if you don't have mana, perhaps not the best idea.
Yeah.
He didn't decide yet, so he's waiting for the entangle and then maybe going for it.
It's a big Night Elf army now. Foggy able to cancel over and over. Perhaps Cash should have gone for tier 3 at some point. This is something we've been seeing the Korean orgs do quite a bit recently.
But if you don't have an expansion and it's getting cancelled 3 times, I don't know.
Yeah, but the key is just to get to 50 supply, not lose anything, and then... But he lost nothing for a really long time. He lost the buildings, but he got resources back from the cancels. But
so
now Foggy has made it to 70.
You use the tier 2 expos to kill a few units every time, keep Elf busy, and then your fallback plan is tier 3 and a tiny Great Hole?
I would have to see the games closely again, but I think in some of those matches, the Orcs just went for kind of a solid 50 supply army with, you know, grunts and shaman and upgrades, and didn't even try to expand, went for tier 3 first, and then the tiny.
Okay.
Oh, he can just go for the Keeper. There's no staff, no invul, no heal scroll, no TP. The Keeper goes down. He even used heal scroll for it, so this is actually a double kill. Not just the Keeper. Oh. Wow.
Gets out of that one. Foggy loses the first hero, relying on the Alchemist right now. A lot of grunts are falling. Acid Bomb is doing more damage. There's not much mana on these shamans anymore, but Cash, this retreat is really good. He's not losing too much and he's re-engaging now since he has the choke working for him. Scroll the beast though.
Yeah, fighting against this scroll is super scary. Foggy though, how is he not going for the Tavern Revive? I guess he's counting the gold coins here at the moment.
He has it now.
Gathering change. Just found enough.
Keep us going to the shop. There's not much to spend though. And not
Fields are
intercepting.
coming over to mine at the expansion, but going through hostile territory indeed, and turning around already.
Oh, almost a grunt surround doesn't work. Oh, the upgrades, by the way. 0-2 on the grunts. I love that.
Alchemist still not level 3,
Yeah,
by the way.
that's
So
an
his
issue.
heal spray, not too impressive.
Keeper staffing in, almost full mana. Went for a drink at home. Wisps coming in.
Oh, those
This
were
might be
good.
the KO move. Shadowhunter, no mana anymore.
Do you have potion? No. No potion, no clarity. And shop gone. GG! Cash sees it as well. Again, dropping the game without a big fight, but Foggy struggling, but not falling. The winner bracket finalist takes map number 1.
Damn, it so many times felt like Cash should have stabilized there. But wasn't quite able to.
Yeah, what went wrong?
I'm trying to think what Foggy did well.
But you can't think of anything?
No, but like, what was so extraordinary? Because he lost an Invil here, he lost a Keeper there, he lost an Alchemist there, and then basically he just built up his Expo. It never got threatened,
Yeah.
and he just runs across the map 3 to 4 times, cancels the base, and that pretty much served as the entire foundation of his game plan. Some of his surrounds and pickles were good, some failed. On Cash's side, same thing. Like, he got some kills sometimes things got away. So I feel like roughly it was quite a neutral game. They both kind of got what they needed. Blade Master killed the Ogre Mage 5, stole the item, but then died. So what could Cash do to stop Foggy in a game like this? The expansion was early, but level 1 Blade doesn't get to cancel a Tree of Life against 3 Archers and Entangle. So I don't know. Maybe it's what Remo was saying. Maybe it should be a tier 3, so he could get that expo on lockdown much more quickly. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the upside also of going tier 3 is you don't have to camp your expo. You can just run around the map and creep from one camp to the next. And your heroes, they scale amazingly well. Whereas the Knight of Heroes, not so much really beyond level 3 oftentimes in this matchup. The Alchemist, yeah, but the Keeper, not so much.
Yeah.
And you can just, play a pretty creep-heavy style, move from camp to camp. And once you are tier 3, you should have the strength, I think, to back up a Tiny Great Hall, because it always feels to me like when we're at between 50 and 60 supply, if you have good Orc hero levels, it looks pretty good for the Orc. But when we go beyond that to like 70, 75, when Night has all the scrolls and everything, that's when things get dangerous. But if you tech to tier 3 quickly and go for it tiny, I don't think Foggy should have been at that point already. But, we're just here in the observer slot. It's easy for us to say, do this, do that, that went wrong, that went wrong. In a game where you have limited information playing in first person, it's harder to make those calls.
Yeah. It's just bizarre that no one even crept the Goblin Merchant, don't you think? Normally it's like high prio for either. Like, that's how busy they were with each other.
Yeah, true.
All right, map number 2, Amazonia. First we have to determine Cash's race again, and then we can talk about the normal meta on this game. Foggy's
I know
ready.
already. It's human.
It's human.
It's gonna be human.
Dude, I want him to just be Orc all the way through now.
I would love to see Cash playing against Foggy's Warden actually on this map.
Ooh.
That would be super interesting.
Do you dare to go Warden against random though? What if it's Mirror?
True, that is a good point. He doesn't know, but it's also not human. It is undead again.
Damn it!
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to go for a Wisp Scout before going for the hero. On this map, that's very doable. Other maps, like Twisted and maybe Concealed, not so much. Pretty sure on Concealed he's going to play Keeper no matter what. But here, playing against Undead. Okay. And what should be the preferred hero here? I think he defeated him before with Keeper Mass Air, right? Didn't he? Yeah, he did.
And that was also on this map.
That was Concealed.
Oh,
in
Concealed,
their upper
yeah.
bracket.
So why would Keeper not be okay? It works fine in Mirror, like decent, and then it's great against Orc. It's very fine against Undead. And against human, it's not that good anymore these days, or does it still get used?
And it does sometimes still get used, but I think it's mostly down to the map being so bad for other heroes. Concealed is what I'm talking about here. Being a bad map for Warden and Demon both, where Keeper can still find a decent play. But I think Keeper is a very dangerous choice against Human nowadays. If the Human knows what he's doing, Keeper can oftentimes fall flat on his face. So Foggy went for the Scout early before going for the Hero, so he's choosing the Demon. And Foggy's most recent plays have involved a lot of have seen a lot of evolution, especially playing against Happy, excuse me. Foggy has gone through so many different styles, trying to find an answer. A couple of weeks ago, he was on the Mass Archer Tier 3 Triple Hero Marksmanship train, but in these last couple of days, maybe 2 weeks or so, he has been back to one base map control Tier 3 style, which he hadn't played in quite a while.
The thing is, though, I don't know if you can apply the anti-Happy strategies to his normal undead play. Like, all the stuff we see in the grand finals, that's stuff that he plays only against Happy's timings, against Happy's builds. So will Cash play like Happy does? I don't think so, because he is the one with whom Foggy is practicing these strategies. He knows all the timings inside out as well.
To a certain extent, that's true. Like, for example, I think Foggy will play Keeper Mass Air against any undead other than Happy, because Happy you just can't beat with that style, because Happy gets level 4 DK, and then you will not find a single kill anymore in that game. But there's other styles which just work against anything, and that is Demon 1 base. You can beat 1-0 with that, you can beat me with that, you can beat anybody with that. You can even beat Happy with that, if you play it well enough, in my opinion.
So what is the usual Happy style in this situation that Cash can measure himself to? This Tet style Fiend opening, but then not going Fiend against Elf, that's standard, right? And then do you do like a Naga second or Lich second, blow up some archers?
Yeah, it's 4 ghouls into Fiends, depending on the map, sometimes even 5 ghouls to sneak in 1 or 2 camps for the big item drops. Amazonia is one of those maps where Happy will sometimes sprinkle in 5 ghouls to go for a Renegade creep quickly in the corner of the map. Renegade Wizard for the big item. And then go to Fiends and go to your kind of big tier 3 power spike. You're gonna go Lich second, almost always if you're Happy. Rarely he does go for a Naga second pressure play though. And then mostly Naga third with a big Fiend army and 1 or 2 destroyers sprinkled in the mix. And until that is the case, until you hit your tier 3, try to creep as efficiently as possible and don't lose anything.
Why do you think no Naga seconds anymore?
It's a good question. For a while he played it almost exclusively and then moved completely away from it shortly after. I think it's especially the Lich can turn into a liability because you still have to play Lich, but the Lich will be third. And if the Lich doesn't get levels, he can feel pretty underwhelming oftentimes. Whereas the Naga, if she's stuck on level 1 or on level 2 as the third hero, she's totally fine. But if the Lich never gets to 3 in a long game, that can be a big problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And probably in this matchup, with this hero lineup, with Undead Triple Hero going up against Night Elf Dual Hero, that's probably the biggest strength of the Undead, drawing it out into the super late game and getting very high levels with 4-4-3 or something like that, which is what Night Elf can have great trouble dealing with.
And after the factory heavy armor change, do we not see DK Lich Tinker anymore? Especially not against Demon opening, of course, but do we still see Tinker?
Against Mass Dryads we do, sometimes, especially if you're trying to assault an expansion and apply pressure, but it has become quite rare to see.
It is indeed the Lich second, as you have predicted. Coil Steel on the creep, not bad. Item as well for Duchess Wintermall.
The Duchess. That reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street. Great movie. Naga second coming in. Level 3 for the Demon already. And I like that Foggy is finally adopting more of a Demon level-centric style. Doesn't have the boots yet, which would complete my happiness. But at least he's got the level 3 and he's playing quite aggressively. I also feel like against every other undead in the world, Foggy has the guts to play really aggressively. But against Happy, it's the exact opposite, where he's always seemingly.
For once, I have to
very
disagree, man. This is what Foggy always plays against Happy when he plays Demon Hunter. He is so aggressive very early on. Happy stays in his base for a minute, 1.5, like pretty much the entire early game until he's tier 2. And then he's brave enough to move out again.
Yeah, but it's the demon normally like solo harassing and buying time for the archers, and especially in the past it was the demon then continues keeping up the solo harass, and the Naga and the archer and the Ancient of War go level up elsewhere. But here now by Foggy, it's him all out aggressive pretty much with his full army. And finally the boots!
And a very good inventory in general, right? Plus 11. It's not gonna be easy.
So painful, the -94 mana burn. There to be a thorn in the side of Cash, even as the Naga goes to creep again with that Ancient of War that you guys talked about. Tier 3 is well underway, 2 lores are ready. They're going to be starting things off with a double Dryad play, and then presumably going to be going into Druids of the Claw, though it could be Mountain Giants. Is it actually Mountain Giants?
Could very well
Normally
be.
nowadays we see bears up to 50 and then 2 more Moonwells and then go up to 64 instantly with 2 more MGs after you got the upgrades. Which makes for a pretty good 65 to 70 supply army. But what I like seeing much more than MGs here is the aggressive play by the demon. Getting in the burns early, getting level 3 early, getting the boots, applying pressure, and forcing the undead to creep as little as possible. This is what I've been demanding, or at least hoping to see from Foggy against Happy for such a long time. Finally he does it here, not against Happy, but he's doing it against Cash playing undead, and it's looking pretty good so far. But you have to be careful with how long you stay in there, because you have to count the seconds until undead tier 3 is done and frenzy kicks in, because then everything turns around and you have to fall back.
Orb of Corruption is out. He brings the low fiend, but he cycles it back very prematurely, as you should. Cash takes a very risky fight here. No healing potion, no TP, but Orb of Corruption always gets value. 2 victims without losing anything. Cash has earned his place to be on the map again. He's trying to get 1 more archer kill, and he does just that. They're only archers, but those still form pretty significant source of damage as you're going into your bears, as you're going into your tier 3. And they represent creeping speed as well, so that's something Cash can be happy with. He now picks up his Naga and sets up to keep up the counter aggression.
A bit of a shame here for Foggy that he overextended. He did not see the timing of the orb coming, which again changes everything. And with those losses, kind of the wind is out of his sails, it almost feels like. These archers are important to take out the ghouls quickly. That piercing damage missing will be felt. Also, by the way, when they were at the merchant at Cash's side, he focused on the DK. Focusing the DK is almost never the right call. And turned out also there to be the improper choice.
But he was almost dead. He was so low.
Yeah, you think so, but then he has aura and he has statues and he is so fast and he gets away and all your damage amounted to nothing.
Yeah. That's why they call it sometimes noob hero focus. It can be the right call, but they're the hardest to kill.
I guess it's somewhat understandable with the DK having used the TP earlier. If you get the kill there, that might be the win for you already. But DK is pretty tanky, you need to be careful. Foggy coming in again. The ghouls, those are normally the ones you want to aim for. And the first one is taken out. And again, the Dryad Spears on the DK. Not the right focus.
If he got just 1 spear on the ghoul, it's such an easy finish off. No Orb of Venom, and the first destroyer is on the field. Almost feels like a flex to get the destroyer that early, not using it reactively. You do, of course, have that delay of morphing to a destroyer, which can sometimes be painful. Not quick enough to get the first rejuve. He devoured the rejuve like 5 seconds after it finished. Nice try.
He queues more Dryads, and that should be, maxed out at 50. No Moonwells yet, while Cash is getting ready to break upkeep already. Wonder if he expects the Mountain Giants to come as well.
Is this a forgotten tome or a saved tome? It's forgotten. Twitch chat will be livid.
SyDe did it better before and ran back and picked it up.
Very impressive play by Cash to go toe-and-toe with Foggy. No major fights yet, but it looks comfortable, looks good, and Cash on undead, keeping up.
Yeah, the levels are still the scary part here for Cash. They're really low at 2-1-1. That's gonna change here in a moment. So perhaps Foggy, with that in mind, was also trying to be pretty aggressive. But now it's finally gonna fall back to get the level 3 on the Naga. That's a decent little level up. And the item to be found here, quite a few good ones. The big healing is one of those good items. Not seeing an invul on the demon always scares me.
He's too greedy for the items on his demon, it feels like. He wants every single stat boosting item.
He should give all the heal pot here. Yeah, okay, he does.
What do you think about seeing 2 full mana Moonwells as we head into the second night of the game? Do you think that's his insurance policy in case he gets pushed? Or do you think he has not fully optimized his health bar of the Demon Hunter as a harassing tool, maybe picking off a unit and then staffing and then getting back in there? I feel like it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. But it's probably not that easy to get a kill against Unholy Aura.
Yeah, I can see that. I like what he's doing now, though. Weaving in and out with the demon, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. Drain your HP, 4 mana. And then ideally you have a bear somewhere in the back with Rejo. There he is. You can see from the demon's mana pool how good of a job he's been doing. Draining over and over. Burning over and over. He's got barely any mana left himself.
Well, Spring is available for Foggy. His Moonwells are going up. He has a lot of potential healing, which also means, while saving up on 50, that a straight-up fight would be the very worst thing that he could have.
Okay, well, looks like it. At the expansion, there's some acolytes moving over. So is he expanding on the back of this fight? It's kind of wild. Fiend falls early.
That creep camp is not finished. Acolyte is dying.
Ooh, another mistake by Cash. 3 destroyers out now. Seems
Foggy
a little
just
heavy.
use the staff, save the bears. This is great so far for Foggy.
Yeah.
Force Cash into upkeep, is in no upkeep himself. He's quite greedy not to follow into upkeep. It's very obvious. It's impossible to misread this army as being less than 50.
Feels very like what Moon was doing on Amazonia in Anaheim. Like casually saving up like 2,000 gold against Foggy. It was so ridiculous. It was like 35 food disparity. And it kind of feels like he's doing that, which Moon did against him. It wounded him deeply. And now he's trying to use that against Cash. 50 v 65, easy to see as an observer. And even as Remo said, you can't miss it. Is it possible that Cash did miss it? Or is he just using his bigger army to get the lion's share of the creeps?
Yeah, I don't mind that either. Again, these heroes scale really well. DK, Lich, Naga. If they get to 4-3-3 or 4-4-3, that's extremely strong. So I think going into upkeep so early... Oh, hold that thought. The demon in a bit of trouble. Getting blocked by the DK, but he is speedy enough to make it away. Demon not being level 4, by the way, is a bit of a problem. He's not as tanky as he usually would be. Oh, more stats for the demon.
Yeah.
What's he gonna drop?
He got the boots of Kel'Thalas.
Just keep it on the Naga.
He's very tempted now to give the boots of speed to the Naga.
Firelord 3rd. Gualthalas Firelord.
That would trigger Remo into oblivion.
Yeah, me too.
Can't be coiled. 1.5k gold, Foggy. Are you for real?
No.
MGs, there we go, finally. 50 into double MG.
Oh, he made a Tree of Life on a Apprentice Wizard level 1. I was wondering where his money went. He got cancelled, got his money back, did it again. Yeah. He cannot mana burn anymore. I didn't know that Demon Hunter actually had a relevant mana pool.
Has to walk back a little, or does he want to go into the fight like that? Is he? Okay, he's finally going into upkeep. Hardened skin and resistant skin. Cute, I guess. Yeah, he doesn't have that yet. So this will take Foggy some time until he's in fighting shape.
Saving up like 1,500 gold, but not pre-prepping the upgrades.
Was he so low lumber? I don't think he was.
Maybe a little bit.
He queued the 3rd attack upgrade, so rather not. That's the reason, I guess.
These upgrades are insane.
Yeah, they're so expensive. Cash is moving over. This is the time where the Mountain Giants aren't that great, so can he get the win with this push?
MG position to the start of the fight wasn't that good. Didn't get a lot of taunts in at all, and the first bear was staffed out really quickly. Dryads, once focused, get killed off very fast as well. MGs next to each other with the taunt. Some Fiends, though, exposed. Boros coming in, and Foggy doesn't seem to be getting the better end of this fight. The Demon dropping really low, forced into the heal pot there as well. But MG tank now starting to activate. And Fog Lightning also not too bad, but Foggy, not much in this army here does a lot of damage anymore. It's kind of the Demon and the Naga only.
A lot of Fiends dying, Abomination gone down, 1 Destroyer has gone down, Demon is close to level 4. DK is running away, 61 food against 70 on the side of Foggy. This looked good for Foggy, and he's on the warpath.
Okay, looking if he can continue this, or if he wants to retreat a little, heal up, regen up, and then engage into it. But Cash only wants time for his expansion in the north. Foggy, once again, a little attacked. His expo will take some time. He has to move it over and entangle.
Yeah, Foggy kind of got away with a black eye there. This was a really sloppy engagement by him with going to the big fight without the MGs in the front. We saw this before by him against Happy a couple of weeks ago on Concealed, where Nova Fog Lightning just killed his whole army in like 5 seconds. But here, Foggy manages to stay alive and fight another day. But he really needs to make sure he sends the MGs out first, soak up the damage, and spread them out. Don't have them all next to each other. You want to have a good, I don't know, 300 distance or so between them, so they can provide a big front line.
Staff and invisibility on the Demon Hunter now.
He only has 1 mana burn, so he just wants to get 1 good mana burn.
Here we go again. Bears on the front, taking a lot of damage from all the Destroyers and the Nova. Mountain Giants mostly left alone, but it's 3 of them now. Demon Hunter takes a lot of damage, has the Invul Potion. Does he have a reach on it? No. DK in trouble. No TP, no potion on him. Oh, the aura is so good. 1 more swipe in. The Demon Hunter is controlled, though. Can't follow. Staff out. Can't step in again.
Not too much Moon Juice left, but at least for 1 more round, it's good enough. And here comes the Staff. Ins once more. But more bears are dying. Cash has a bit of a supply lead here. But with the A-bomb falling, that might be changing. DK needs to be careful. Needs to be really careful. Is there a Fog Lightning?
No, just use it. 2 Abominations falling. 8 supply. Gone. Level 4 for the Demon. He finally has evasion too.
There's a bear on the expansion
Oh, so
of
good.
Cash.
I love
Very
this.
nicely done. That should be another Fiend falling. The level 5 for the Naga makes the Fog Lightning quite a bit stronger, and he gets it. Or she gets it, as the Demon was not in range there to soak up experience.
Foggy has an expansion, but is not mining yet. He does have a big lumber surplus, so he could pull a lot of wisp from his main, and he does exactly that.
DK not being level 4 yet for Cash is a big problem. With the level 2 aura, this would all be so much easier. In fact, he is kind of missing 3 level ups. At this point in the game, you really want 4-3-3, but I guess he just didn't get enough kills.
Foggy playing with the idea of attacking the Acolytes at the Expo again, but Cash says no. DK in the middle of everything! Fog Lightning, and he just kills him! Suicidal DK! And that's the end, right? That must be. The Naga's about to fall as well. Invul Potion keeps her alive. No, doesn't! Mistakes were made and Cash taps out of nowhere. Foggy breaks his neck.
In that very moment, I don't know if Cash was looking at the fight, because he had 2 Destroyers chasing down a Druid of the Claw to the main base of Foggy. It's not something that really needs active thinking, but maybe you queue up a few actions. He did get the bear, by the way. 1 small victory.
Yeah, but the game still goes to the Ukraine 2-0 if we combine the winner bracket final and the grand final. It's now 5-0 for Foggy, who has lost a single map in this entire tournament. And that was against Hawk. That's pretty impressive.
And that was against
Foggy's.
Mountain King Blood Mage. So Cash knows what he needs to do. Just roll human.
Yeah, Foggy's performance here once again so impressive, and I have to echo what you were saying earlier, Neil. As long as Happy's not in the tournament, Foggy looks out of his mind. And he made a few mistakes in that game. He overextended and almost gave away his entire lead, but confident play by Foggy. When we were feeling that he had to go into upkeep a long time ago, Foggy was fine to wait on 50, get into insanely strong upgrades. 3-2 on his Bears and MGs and Dryads. And finally got the levels to roll at the later stage as well. I think the big mistake there by Cash was when he went into big and supply, into higher supply numbers, into upkeep. That wasn't a mistake necessarily, but I think he really should have utilized that strength and capitalized by getting more creep camps. His levels were way too low. It was 3-2-2 at the very end. That's just not enough. If you get up to 65 quickly, that should be at least one red camp for you, maybe even two.
I think you hit the nail on the head, because Cash triple destroyer on the top left of the map was 56 food. Soon after got to 65. Gave away the merc camp that he morphed those destroyers over though. And then traded them. And then didn't finish the camp, even though it was only a single demon until level 3 harassing him. He just took the Renegade Wizard and left. He never killed the 2 level 3 rogues next to the laboratory. So he let one demon under scare him off. And it kind of makes sense. You think the demon is there. The Naga will be there very soon as well. So you're playing into an implicit threat of the demon. Like, I got my friends coming, I swear. I already called the police. They'll be here any second. But actually, they weren't. So he gave up so many creeps on the map that probably he shouldn't have. When you go over 50 so soon, you do need to get those creeps.
Well, we load into game 3. 3 match points in a row, but we've seen Cash in exactly this position in the lower bracket final, and he came back. Good thing he's warmed up with Undead now, because he's getting it again. Match points for Foggy. $500 are just one map away. Concealed Hill with Cash as Undead in the upper right. Foggy spawning in the blue bottom left.
And a ghoul build this time. I don't think I've ever seen Cash play a ghoul build.
Yeah.
That's a lot harder to play than the Ted or Happy opening, and needs a lot more expertise. How many ghouls do you need? How many do you want to be aggressive with? How many can you afford to lose? How many do you want to have in your Frenzy Ghoul timing? When is it a waste to go for Frenzy Ghouls? What hero levels should I be looking at? When am I going to be aggressive? This is a lot more complicated. So I'm kind of surprised he's going for this opening. Is he going to play Dreadlord maybe? That would be crazy.
Does he know how to?
I would be surprised. No, okay.
So this feels a bit like, what's that guy called? There's this 70%-ish undead on old Battle.net. He always sells TP and goes for mass ghoul creeping, DK3, and then tries to surround like forever.
Is that Abrams?
Yeah. Abrams.
In Undead Mirror, he goes level 1 aggressive with with ghouls and Unholy Aura.
Yeah. I think Cash's channeling is his inner Abrams, which I agree with everything you said, by the way, about how ghouls have a lot of nuance and how they are difficult to play. But if you just play, like, to be an avatar of one style, you channel your Abrams. You don't really need to think much about it. You've got a mission. You're just going to hard creep to level 3 or go with level 1. I don't know, whatever you choose for. And you're just going to roll with it, whether it's the right thing to do or not. Saying, I'm already 0-5 against this guy. Let's just be extreme, don't overthink, and just go do a thing on the map.
Starting off with a bit of creeping, so not instant ghoul run across the map. Which used to be meta for a long time. Just go aura first and then run across the map with 4 ghouls instantly. Try to kill wisps and such, but Night Elves have become too good at defending against that. And also probably the Keeper, too good of a hero to deal with that. Who's continuing to creep here at the green. Acolyte sees this though. This could be a big coil steal. There's no level 2 Keeper yet, so no Entangle to worry about yet for Cash.
Residual vision is gone, which means DK has to go around the trees. Nice wall off by Foggy against that. He's going to pressure all he can. Let the treants last hit the crab.
Oh!
DK gets it. From downtown, baby. Level 2. And he picks up the tome. Twitch chat is happy. Cash is happy. And the Keeper prevented. Oh, level 2 prevented.
Oh! This is starting off surprisingly well here for Cash. Level 2 Keeper still not acquired.
There's a Wisp here. There's a Wisp. He can get level 2.
Yeah.
How many will he get? He reacts very slowly.
Whee.
But we'll get it.
What's around?
Oh. Finds the nook. Could kill a ghoul. Does he dare to turn around?
You think entangle and treants on a single ghoul?
Yeah, sure. Get every kill you can. How much damage is level 1 entangle?
Maybe 150?
I think it's yeah, something like that. I think you should have been able to get it. But you don't want to run into a ghoul surround, I suppose. Don't want to lose map positioning more than anything else, because there's an expansion coming up right now. Tree of Life in the south. Cash has not scouted this yet, but he seems to be smelling it.
His macro senses are tingling.
That's an easy cancel, of course, with 3 ghouls, even though it's at 60%.
I don't think so.
But you
Really?
pick-
I think the keeper's got this. Bring in a Wisp or 2 for against the skeletons.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, coming.
And
He
then
needs
just
to
entangle the ghouls. Even, like, if you kill all the ghouls here, that's totally worth it for the Night Elf. There we go, detonates.
Okay, detonates are good.
He's there ready for the next...
Oh, I've been there, Cash. I've been there in my ladder game.
Oh,
no!
misses the coil!
Oh, that's so bad. That's a complete disaster. That is the mistake that
Broke the
normally you
camel's
don't come
back.
back from.
Remo, how often did you scream at Foggy, bring wisps to your expansion?
He listened, finally.
And he does, and he holds this.
That's so bad.
He
This
could
is a
have
good
coiled
opening.
the
He
third
just-
wisp. He could have auto-attacked the wisp down, get his skeletons out. He could have coiled the ghoul maybe a little bit sooner, but he really was pushing the mana limit. So no, either way, misestimation. Painful, painful, painful loss.
Yeah, and with that, losing so many ghouls with the ghoul opening, you just kind of kneecapped yourself. Normally you're relying on a good frenzy ghoul timing, but that's very hard to make work now. Tier 3 is coming, but no fiends yet, which you do want to start sprinkling in. No slaughterhouse yet. And the keeper's
He
almost
made
level 3.
a lot of ghouls.
The player's forces are under attack.
Kind of feels like the Undead versus Night Elf style from a few years ago. DK, 8 ghouls, 1 or 2 fiends.
But against Hans, what does it really do?
Not much.
Oh,
Entangle.
sweet.
Nice
Yeah,
around.
that's the TP, right?
No messing around.
Foggy also has no mercy with this poor fella.
Why mercy when you can win?
It's attitude of a champion, I guess.
Doesn't need a second hero though. A keeper alone is not good enough against Undead Tier 3, no matter how good of an early game you've had.
Yeah. Rush for tranquility, get silenced. Aww.
I remember the days in 1.30 when Night Elves just didn't play a second hero against Orc and just relied on tranquility to just win the late game for them.
I got quad buffed, so why not?
Is Cash thinking of counter expanding?
But you kind of need Gargs for that or something.
And the levels here worry me the most. Not only were all those ghouls lost on the march south, but also this was a lot of time for with 0 creeping. The DK is still not level 3. Oh, the first fiend got intercepted.
Yeah. That was an easy entangle.
that.
Just walked right into the Night Elf army. And that's a lot of
There are
damage
diff-
lost.
And there are difficult decisions in life, but whether or not to entangle that fiend was not one of them.
Double engine of law for Foggy.
A player's forces are under attack.
And more creeping, just dominating with an alchemist now. What's there to do? Like, if he runs into an alchemist, he's just getting acid bombed, and then we have the AoE of Hans. Cash is... he can't pick a fight.
Yeah, and we have Dryads coming as well, double lower at the expo. Dryads can live out their usefulness, or run out of usefulness the longer the game goes if Undead Heroes become very strong. But how is that going to happen this game? We have a level 2 DK, level 1 Lich, no Fiend Force really on the battlefield, Ghouls without Frenzy, Destroyer form not ready yet. Foggy is in absolute control of this
A
game.
player's forces are under attack.
Cash really doesn't have a lot of options on what to creep. Doesn't have web on Fiends. Not really an investment he can make right now. So this is a very obvious camp. Afterwards, it comes to mind to start making a slow progression towards the Night of Expansion. Grab the Crab camp, maybe the Goblin shop. And that's pretty much his options. Which also means that Foggy is extremely transparent in his ideas about where Cash could be, which makes this creep check very, very logical. At this point, you could try to hire a Zeppelin, get out. Again, an expense that you don't really want to have to make.
Foggy's fighting pretty early, though. He's fighting against under tier 3 with only 2 Dryads and not much supply at all. He's the one to go for the Zeppelin. I think that's smart, because I think this fight is going to turn around on him. This is a good fight for Cash. The more right clicks come out, the more damage from the Fiends that's stacking up, the more Huntresses will be falling. And this Zeppelin is kind of saving Foggy right now.
Full mana, but no coils to save his ghouls. Uses a coil on 100 damage Fiend. Slightly awkward here by Cash, but he's still in a comfortable position. Definitely would want to save that Fiend. Gets it, though.
And the statue is also an A-click. It's not healing, it's attacking the Zeppelin, which is not really what you want. Zeppelin does go down, so this was a lot of healing not coming through. The Alchemist dies with the Zeppelin, with a TP in his inventory.
Oh.
Coil again misses. There you could see the Destroyer and the statue were in the same group, and he A-clicked the Zeppelin to take it out, but that was not the proper way of doing that. Honestly, this could have gone worse for Foggy. Yeah. Kind of got away with a black eye there, but he got enough kills to still make that a pretty good attempt, I guess.
Once upon a time, I remember a game where attacking a Zeppelin with statue would have actually won the game.
Oh, I remember that as well.
But this wasn't it.
Ooh, Lich Entangle, can he get a counter kill on the second hero? Against the trees, it's always dangerous. And okay, gets out. Damage too high. No coil at the moment. Dryad Spears, slow this down. Okay, another Fiend falling.
There's not enough DPS here in Cash's army. All the Fiends have died. And honestly, Foggy is looking pretty solid towards a 3-0 victory here, perhaps.
No double healing on the statue, which Happy would do on the statue. Would give the DK more mana, give the Lich more mana. Still, undead heroes are pretty tanky with double statues. And the best chance for Foggy now would be to intercept reinforcements. It's still a little challenging for him to fight against Destroyer and undead heroes. That Fiend is gunning for the single Dryad. Now for the Huntress, but his attack speed is getting slowed.
Yeah. And getting attacked by 3 Dryads, this will be the end. And Cash is also supply stuck at 40. Not sure if he's even rebuilding a ziggurat. No, he's not. This is painful.
He's never had it. Like, he's had no need for that 4th ziggurat.
Maybe true. Foggy's about to lose 2 units here, though. Can he?
Oh, the sheep.
Nice sheep.
Level 3 Lich. Okay, hero levels are starting to get there. Dryads fall off or can fall off like a brick. Oh, armor upgrade first, Foggy. I love to see that. Lots of gold still for the Night Elf. Lumber here the issue. Dryads, of course, pretty lumber expensive.
This time
not so much gold expensive.
It's only tier 2. So is there a point in this game where Cash just has the higher quality army and the Lich carries this? Because at one point, Dryads will fall apart against this.
Yeah, that's absolutely possible. With Fiend numbers high enough, with upgrades good enough, and with heroes good enough, you can almost easily win a 20 supply deficit against mass Dryads. So Foggy has to make a choice soon to either try to push his advantage while it's still a large one, or to start to get a transition to tier 3.
Upgrades a little bit lackluster for Foggy. He hasn't had Goblin Shredder, hasn't had a lot of Wisps, so he's just 0-1, working on his 1-1. No tier 3, nowhere near being able to go to tier 3, and just 70 food Dryads. Finally gets that Shredder. That will solve things quickly, and it looks like Foggy will unlock 2 of the remaining 5 huge camps on the map. I was thinking about going to the Ogre Lord, but he has changed his mind. Did he get a sniff of the fact that there's an expansion coming out?
2 Dryads by Foggy, by the way, Miss Rally standing at the natural. Perhaps that will become relevant. But he still has a good number of Dryads here left. Can definitely cancel the Haunted. Maybe not in time to take out the towers.
Sure.
Although... Oh wait, does he not? He has a TP. He could die for the Haunted if he wants to.
Oh, the Destroyer! No coil.
Coil.
Second time the destroyer is a little bit out of position. This expansion, there's so many dryads. Tower's still at 50%. He is diving for it. He gets it. Can easily get out. Not a single one fell yet, right? Maybe one. And that's it.
He's killed one Dryad, lost one Destroyer and an Acolyte, and got his expansion cancelled. He's back to 40 food. You know, I have this rule called the 40 food rule, and it means check your mine. You're mining with 4 workers. Because you know how sometimes you could be on 4 workers for a whole game,
Yep.
and you never realize you've accidentally been mining with 4 workers?
I have that feeling a lot in ladder games. I'm like, I'm so broke. Why am I so broke? Do I only have 4 acolytes? And never 4. It's always 5.
Yeah, well, lucky you. I've had it too often. But in this case, Cash does have 5. He's just broke because he's been losing units.
There's so much control with these dryads. Like, Aura 1 is not enough.
2 towers and a couple of fiends can hold off against an amazing amount of dryads, though.
Yeah.
So Foggy needs to make sure not to overextend into these towers. But then again, expansion isn't even coming up because lumber is so low.
He's also attacking now. I like it. Not stubbornly go for mass dryads, as like we've seen last year in the summer especially. He's going for mountain giants now. He's going tier 3. He's gonna get ore probably, and more sweet tier 3 stuff.
Would Potom be a good idea?
I feel like Potom is never a good idea.
That's how we beat Happy. Potom third.
That's how we beat Heavy, yeah.
If she's protected by like 3 MGs, maybe. Do we have MGs coming now?
Yeah.
A single one.
Will take some time with all the upgrades and stuff. He's also at 80 food, so he has to kill something or go up to 100, which is a little weird on 2 bases.
I think Foggy should start trading now. Trade a couple of Dryads for a couple of Fiends and then replace him with MGs.
Destroyer control will have to be immaculate to get use out of it while not losing it too quickly. Cash shows up late. The camp has been taken. Cloak of Flames. Not the best item for Foggy. Cash can be happy about that at least. Starts to take a fight. One Dryad goes down. DK level 4 finally, but the Fiend is under pressure.
And will probably fall. Not willing to invest a coil here. He's
No, he
completely...
did. He was still on cooldown.
Ah, was still on cooldown, alright. Still broke. This investment of this expansion has not paid off yet.
2-2 upgrades. Very close for Foggy. He reaches tier 3 right now.
Oh, look at the base. There's 2 new buildings. It's time to end this. Chimera Roosts. 3 actually.
Player's forces are
Triple Chim Roost.
Is he expecting an Abomination Meat Wagon switch, or is he just flexing?
This is exactly what happened last time they met. The Abomination switched and then he destroyed him with Chimeras.
Cash is about 5 light years away from an Abomination switch.
That's correct. You can prepare early. And 3 attack upgrades. This is exactly like they played yesterday.
Foggy looking poised. Everything is pointing towards the Ukrainian. We finally have a second base mining for Cash. Honestly, if Cash gets 2.5 more minutes of freedom and he manages to get up to 70 supply or something, this can still absolutely be winnable. But I would be surprised if Foggy gives him so much time.
Rune braces for Cash, for Foggy now, so he's even ready for the nuke. The tree gets killed this time, so Foggy's not going up to 3 base at the moment. Oh, wants the fight already.
Oh, there was a Tree of Life here. I feel like Alchemist took 0% of the Red Drake XP. I'm not 100% sure, but he was just slightly further from the Keeper. Keeper TP'd in, was blocked, and it was not solved. Maybe they just shared it 50-50. Bit of a loss. Alchemist gets to level 5, slightly slower. Not the hugest of deals, but a little bit funny.
We get the Abomination in the base. We're just waiting for Foggy to break up to 100 supplies, getting 3-3. This is going to be brutal.
a player's
Perhaps
forces
waiting
are
until he
under
gets
attack.
3 base income. But he could very well just start the triple chim right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
1,000
he has the
gold.
money for it.
He has Cash in a chokehold. It's just a matter of time. How long Cash is still moving.
Town is under siege.
3 upgrades are coming in, by the way. for the entire army, as the upgrades benefit all of these MGs and Dryads and Chims. And now if Foggy can trade his third base for the second base of his opponent, he's gladly going to take that trade. But I think Cash is going to TP back towards his expansion. Can he win a fight now?
He won't even kill the tree.
Oh my god.
20 HP. Is this the end for Cash? Is this the end of the Heroes Hearth Invitational? Oh my, these illusions, they're wonderful. Not dispelling, Foggy splitting immediately. Level 5 on this Alchemist. The acid bomb is hitting, is gonna hit so big. Treant's not dispelled, illusion's not dispelled. Everything is all over the place.
Also, Dryad's dying over and over, unable to keep them all alive and get a lot of value out of them. Alchemist getting focused quite heavily now on the front line, but has the Invo and also has the Rune Bracer still to rely on. More Fiends are still falling. We have Cash down at 51 supply only left, but Dryads are also dying one after the next despite all of these upgrades. It's not over yet. Lich close to level 4, but more Fiends are falling. And with the Fiends falling, so does the damage disappear. Only one single Fiend left now.
Lich close to
I
4.
like how Foggy took no risk with the Alchemist, despite the Rune Bracers. Staffed it at 400 life, didn't want to have some kind of surprise loss, unlikely as it seems, and just went to staff the Alchemist, who didn't go for a full heal at the Moonwells, but will be coming back to heal at the Healing Fountain.
Cash still alive, Cash still fighting. Body blocks coming in. It takes forever to kill this MG. Is there finally Chimera production? Yes, there is. 3 of them. 6 heads are coming Foggy's army's way. This Tree of Life, he was down to 20 HP. He's repairing now. And Cash still seems not to find an answer to kill it now.
At the perfect time, the Chims are coming as A-bombs are starting to make their way into the field, and these A-bombs are gonna die so fast. Yeah, not even sure if Web is researched by now.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
No, it's not. 2 attack upgrades, but no web. Or does it just not display? Not sure.
If you're using the booster overlay, it doesn't show well.
Ah, okay. Then it doesn't.
Fiend's already dying, and the Chims aren't even in.
Yeah.
This is like a 360 surround with Dryads coming in from every angle. We have MGs in the mix, and Cash is losing more and more units, stepping out a little bit too far away from his expansion. Seems like the twin-headed dragons aren't even required to finish off this game. Lich full mana, but what does he Nova? What really makes a difference? It's not easy to find targets here.
Foggy is at 100 food on 6 skims that he's not using, and he doesn't need it.
True.
Just casually 30 supply Chims parked elsewhere.
In the main. Yeah, they protect their home territory. It's fine.
He could lose Keeper and Alchemist now, get a Potem, and level her up to level 5 in one fight if he brings his skims.
Oh, he's dropping some
item on the
items
ground.
there.
Oh, Alchemist makes it out.
More Fiends falling. Level 6 on the Keeper. That's the ultimate.
3 mana away from Trank. He could do it.
There
on.
we go!
As a celebration to ending the Heroes Hearth Invitational, Foggy gives us a little fireworks and another 3-0 victory over Cash. Now 6-0 yesterday and today combined. That is a deserved champion. If you break through the winner bracket with only 1 map lost, that's your tournament.
11-1 in map score. Foggy is happy when happy isn't there.
That's true. That's absolutely true. There we see it. $500 for Foggy. 300 still go to Cash, SyDe and Hawk 200, and Insub, Spiral, Hitman, and Neutron 100 each. Was a pretty cool tournament.
Absolutely. A lot of the best of Europe came to show what they're made of, and Foggy turns out to be the strongest here. I'm glad to see Foggy play so well once again after he had been in a slump in a while with his WGL failings. It's nice to see the second strongest European in our scene do so well again. I hope he can transition this strong performance into offline play as well. We saw him at DreamHack already making it to the top 4, and this bodes well for his future, for his year 2020.
This guy's
A very impressive play by Foggy, 11-1 in score. We saw a lot of cool other upsets. SyDe 2-0ing Hitman, Cash playing random and making it to second, also beating Neutron.
Yeah, the rise of SyDe in this tournament, not only the third place, but the way he got there. When we casted his game against Hitman, we were baffled to see Necromancers and Wagons. Thought, oh my god, this is never happening. And then there was the next day and he was playing again, and he did it again. And then it was a week later and he showed us more varieties of his Dreadlord playstyle. That was wonderful to see. His games against Hawk were just a blast. So if you haven't seen them, check them out here on the Heroes Hearth YouTube channel. And with that, yeah, what's the disappointment maybe? Like, North America eliminated early again after having a good rise during DreamHack.
Yeah, DreamHack, North America did pretty well. In Fight Night, they've been repping all right. I guess Hitman underperformed. I mean, he lost to SyDe, who has been in really good shape. So maybe it looks worse, really, than it is. Hitman losing to Hawk, that's often been a heal for him, a weaker matchup. ORC human, and Hawk is pretty incredible. It's just one tournament. It had very interesting results. NA was unable to ride the momentum that they had been building up since Reforged has been announced. But they met very strong opposition. Foggy made it too easy, but that's exactly what a pro gamer should do. You're not there to make everything close. He dominated, and that's a beautiful thing, even if it doesn't give us a 5-mapper in the finals.
Absolutely, we had a 5-mapper in the lower bracket. That was good enough. Speaking of Fight Night, Grubby, do we have any date for the next one already? Do you know that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's going to be March 13th. We had a 3-week silence because Kendric was moving to Sweden. He's all set up with fast internet. Hopefully nothing will stop us from casting on the coming up Friday. We'll see who Hitman goes up against next. He's built up quite a record so far.
Yeah, he seems unstoppable at the moment in these Fight Nights. It's always a pleasure to watch you cast with Kendric. And I think you will start up your stream in a second, or will we see you tomorrow again? All right, so
I'll go live.
The action with Grubby is not over. But before we give it up and we end this wonderful tournament, we have one more giveaway. Heroes Hearth and HyperX give you one more mouse, and Kendric, the master of the raffle, the master of ceremonies, is in chat, just waiting for the go here. And the keyword is HyperX family. One more mouse will find the way to your home. Good luck to all of you. So
good luck, everyone, to win some of that hardware. Great to get this HyperX sponsored tournament on the roadmap. Hopefully, HyperX and Heroes Hearth will be doing more events this year, and hopefully we'll get a chance to cast together again as well. Great job, guys.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Perhaps in, online and offline tournaments in the future. Who knows? 2020 has many more amazing Warcraft tournaments to offer. In fact, tomorrow we're going to be back quite soon over at Back to Warcraft. The Yule Cup starts already at noon, and we're going to have the Rising Star finals as well towards the evening.
Busy.
Oh, nice. Who are you guys casting in the Rising Star finals?
We have Happy and Foggy and Blade, who defeated X-Lord today. So
I thought X-Lord wasn't playing, or am I confusing it with another tourney, or was a resolution found?
There was a solution found. After a long fight for scheduling, we did it, and yeah, we found a solution. He defeated Hawk and then fell to Blade with it 2-3. So 3 awesome Europeans in the Rising Star finals, and we have 4 Asians as well. The best of China and Korea, they are back. This is a wonderful weekend of Warcraft, and yeah.
Are you casting 3 separate events tomorrow?
2.
2, okay.
Yeah. I think there's Dust
Starting
League
at-
in the evening, but
Only 2 tournament casts in one day, Neo. That's easy.
we're so lazy.
That's easy.
Well, maybe we can do the ESL Cup finals afterwards. Let's see. No, that's a little
We'll see.
Okay. So, I guess the raffle is about to end. So is this broadcast. It was wonderful to be welcomed here at Heroes Hearth. Up to many, many more. Grubby, it was a big pleasure. Remo, we see each other tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Yeah, thank you too. See y'all. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye-bye.